Here. So we keep talking about business development and how to reach our clients, reach our prospects and such. And Sabine introduced us to Natasha to help us understand how email marketing in 2022 fits. It's, is it spam? Is it annoying and such? But we're going to look to Natasha. Please give us some ideas, and we'll pick up the conversation with you after your ideas.
All right, sounds good. Now do me a favor, because I want to respect the platform. What's my time to deliver? Is it 7 minutes or 10? Remind me again.
7, and then we'll talk.
Sounds like a plan. All right, let's be on that. All right, can everyone see my screen? Thumbs up. Yay. All right, so today we're going to talk about a couple things. I gave you a little information. I'm going to expound on some things for you. Okay, so there is strategic power in email marketing, and here's a couple takeaways that we're going to address today. Email marketing is actually a strategy. So we always have to step back and look at our email marketing as a part of our strategy for operations, for business, and also for lead generation, which is your takeaway too. How do you ramp up your lead gen? The third takeaway we're going to work on is email marketing systems you must have certain things in an email marketing system, and how do we use that, and the KPIs that you should be tracking and measuring. So we already know the basic KPIs. I'm going to go into a couple of others and tying it back to the operations of the business, and also how we're using email marketing for lead generation and also to advance the business. And I'll give you some more interesting golden nuggets in between. Okay. So your email marketing strategy has to encompass 3 types of buyers, right? We already know that. You need to be talking to your early buyers, your mid buyers, and your late buyers. And the conversation that you want to have varies. Either you're creating, engaging, or educating. Now, most importantly is whenever we are constructing our emails and we want customers to do something, we always have to remember the 5 whys to making a decision to buy. One of the things we talked about was that subject line, or that lead in, hey, as per my previous conversation, or not sure if you got this, or something weird like that. That, as you can see, can be a massive turnoff to some individuals, right? I usually might even put in, hey, I'm just going to float this back to the top of your inbox just in case you overlooked it. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about spam, the Spam Can Act, and some things that have translated, especially now because we have our mobile devices and we get, the email. So I'm going to talk to you real quick about that. So here are some of the things you have to understand: the 6 whys that we always have to answer, especially in an email. So when we talk about developing content that has a progressive journey, you want to address those 6 whys. Why should I even take the time to change? Why should I accept your email? So why should I take the time? Why is the information you're giving me important now? Why this? Because remember, you have offer, you got copy, you got a list. That's the whole construction of your lead gen, right? So you got offer, copy, and a list. So then you want to start being able to address why me in this journey of your email. Also, why this solution, and why spend the money, because we're all in business to generate income. So once we start looking at a journey, a progressive journey, here's the hiccup that I usually find with companies when they say email is dead, email's not working, nobody's opening emails. You know what I find? There's a lack of consistency. There's no consistency in communication, and also there's no segmenting of the leads or the existing contacts. So just by a quick show of hand, how many people actually segment their list, like truly segment their list of contacts? Well, of course, Donna's like, I got to make sure we do strategy, right? So does anyone else segment their list and their leads?
When you say segment, you mean by industry or by the buyers, the stage buyers, the stages?
All. So industry, type of customer, where did they come from? You want to segment, because everyone has to be talked to differently. And the way that you approach the 6 whys when we use it as a strategy are all very different. If I'm talking to a mid-stage buyer that I'm educating, how did they get to me? So the first thing we look at is, okay, here's my business. Here's the strategy. Here's the type of people I want. Here is the type of growth that I want to see. How do I incorporate this email into my strategy? All right. So developing a progressive journey. We all know about nurture campaigns. You want to develop a basic nurture campaign with about a minimum of 12 messages. So let me hold the line right here and let me just roll in the Spam Can app. Number one, we already know that if you spam someone, who knows how much the fine is? Put it in a chat room or come off of audio, whichever. Who knows how much the fine is?
$2,500.
2,500? I wish. Anyone else have a input? No? Okay. So as a strategy, you have to know your strategy. Why? Because you can spam someone and it can cost you upwards of $40,000 per occurrence. Per occurrence. If someone repeatedly reports your email as you are spamming them, or they find that there was no way for them to unsubscribe, they can report you. And if you get the angry compliance officer, you can easily get hit with a 40,000 plus bill for each occurrence. And they don't care that you're a small business. Okay, so sure, you can get 2,500, it can go up to 40,000. In 2021, the FTC even started incorporating all the messages, SMS and all the things that we get through our devices. So when you look at your email strategy, and maybe you might bring people in to support you, make sure that they're looking at a strategy that's in line with the business. All right, ramping up your lead generation. So when you're looking at lead generation by way of your email, always remember the ABCs of it. You got to attract leads, you got to buy for leads, or you got to collaborate for leads. Now, some people might feel, I will never buy a lead. Yes, you will. You probably buy leads all the time and don't even realize it. But more importantly, when we're talking about buying leads, I'm talking about advertising. A pipeline that's empty is a financially struggling business. It's a hungry quarter. It's not even a hungry week or a hungry month. It's a hungry quarter. And so the goal is to keep your pipeline full with qualified leads. So you can attract the qualified leads into your database by way of maybe a landing page, a lead magnet. You attract them into your database, your CRM, and then you can cultivate them through your email nurture sequence. You can buy it by way of advertising. You can social media, Google ads, but you got to get people into the pipeline, or you collaborate for it. Here's a great way to collaborate for quality leads. So I'm going to take, for example, who's on my screen first. So let's say, for example, I meet Lee and I meet Donna, and all three of us do 3 different things, but we all have a database, right? So we say, listen, we're going to collaborate for quality leads. Lee will share me and Donna to his database, and then everyone else will do the same in reverse. If, say, for instance, Donna and I and Jackie and I said, let's get together and let's host something, the best bet is to do a collaborative approach to it so you can bring qualified leads. Email marketing is a strategy to bring leads in, and then you have to educate them and cultivate them so that they can become an actual paying customer and a loyal customer, right? So ABCs of lead generation: attract it, buy it, or collaborate for it. And when I say buy it, I'm talking about advertising. All right. So know the why and the what to your email. A lot of people automatically throw out this whole thing. I'm going to do a newsletter, sign up for my newsletter. How many people like signing up for the average newsletter? Nobody. So throwing out the term newsletter, we need to just erase that from your memory. It's not sexy anymore. It was sexy back in 1980s. It was sexy in 1990s. Now, newsletters, they're like, I don't want to be on another list of newsletters. Here's the other thing. The moment that you search or stumble upon something online, you get pulled into someone's pipeline and you're going to get their correspondence anyway. You don't even have to sign up for newsletters, right? If you go shopping in a department store and you say, oh, sure, text me your receipt. You put your email in, you've already just consented to getting all the onslaught of emails, right? You open your email and you're getting emails and correspondence from anyone. Genius, love it, but you didn't have to sign up for the newsletter. So when we talk about email as a strategy, as a business, those are the same methodologies that you have to apply. That's why I talk about having a strategy, pipelines, lead magnets, landing pages, all that good, yummy stuff, okay? So newsletters would be the same as education or informational. Just don't call them a newsletter. It's not cute anymore. Nobody wants to sign up. Another way that you correspond is, am I disseminating this email because I'm acquiring customers. If I'm going to acquire new customers, that means I had new people in the pipeline and I have a nurture campaign that they are progressing through. A minimum of at least one email every 3 to 4 weeks. Back in the day, people used to say, don't email, but every 6 or 7 weeks. That is no longer acceptable. And I'll tell you why. Email systems and service providers are starting to buckle down, and they're saying, listen, if you don't send an email at least once a month and the person you're sending it to doesn't respond, we're going to now flag that email in your database as an unengaged email. Every time you distribute emails to, and the body of your database are unengaged emails, you are actually not getting your emails through to a lot more people. Your deliverability rate drops significantly, which is why you want to clean and scrub your databases, because especially after coming out of 2020 and into 2021, service providers started really tightening down. Have you started to see that you have to verify emails more when you sign up or sign into something? All right, sending out email confirmation as a part of your strategy is required. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of bounces and non-deliverables, and your email database is just going to be messy. So send out those email confirmations. Sales and promotions are great. So if you have an annual promotions calendar, you should be distributing these sales and promotions emails along the way. So know the what and the why. Now, here's the big thing. Don't commingle. This is not a gumbo pot. Don't put all 4 of these things in one email, trying to get people to be educated, acquire a new customer, retain the current customers, but also throw out a sales pitch. Don't do that. Pick one and run with it. All right. A couple systems best practices. If you have a CRM tool or a system, it is in your best interest to have one comprehensive tool that does sequencing, automation, CRM, project management, and landing page management. So what do I mean by that? You need to have a system that does sequencing, if this, then that. Otherwise, you will be at your computer every day trying to remember to send an email, trying to remember to follow through with a customer or a potential lead that did something. Automation doesn't pull them anywhere. It's manual labor. And you don't need manual labor as you're trying to scale a business. So sequencing, if this, then that. Automation allows things to happen. So let's say, for example, Jacqueline has a correspondence or a campaign that she has out. And when she pushes this email out, she expects that the persons will click something. And after they click something, then they'll be put somewhere else to do something, because she's nurturing them to the point of saying yes to the dress. Sequence and automation. When you integrate with your CRM, you need to have a tool that holds all of your customer information, including notes, conversations, appointments, payments, as opposed to going to 3 other tools and systems. And now project management also helps you with task management. Landing pages are a big must. Be very careful if you're using multiple systems in order to do one campaign. You got to go to system A to do landing pages, but then you got to integrate it or zap it so that it can talk to your email system. We don't need all that. Try to get one. All right. Here are some KPI things that we want to look at. Unique open rate. Unique open rate. Not the total open rate, the unique open rate. The unique open rate says you, Hank, or you, Donna, opened it 1 time, not you opened it 5 times. So it'll only track, did you open it, yes or no? So you're gonna, if you have a tool, it's gonna show, did you have a unique open rate or a total? You want the unique open rate. If you don't have a good unique open rate, that means that your subject line is not very good. You got to tighten it up, because seeing the email and clicking on the email is 2 different things. Your click-through rate. If people don't follow through with the clicks and the call to actions, that means your message is weak for that particular audience. That's why segmenting to the most granular level is important. Always segment. Engagement rates. If they're not opening your email, this is actually hurting your deliverability and your system. If you go through and you go to reports and you run a report and you see that a body of people are not opening the emails, do one of 2 things. Reach out and check them to find out if the email is good. And if it's not good, delete them from your system. Some people might get nervous to delete. Oh, that's my database. You know what? Download it to a spreadsheet and stick it in a Google Drive or a Dropbox folder, but take them out of your CRM system because it is dropping your deliverability and it's actually messing you up. List growth. Really important, list growth, especially when you have a campaign running. If you have the same 200 people on your list that you've had for the past 10 years, that's a problem. That's a problem. You want to look at your list growth, the number of unsubscribes and the new subscribes. And of course, if your unsubscribes are higher than your new subscribes, the deliverability of your system is off. You're going to get more bounces. You're going to get more hard bounces. You also get soft bounces. And also your system will be flagged that you are spamming people. And we know what that cost will look like. So make sure you pay attention to that. If you're running a campaign, very important to track these numbers too. Your campaign goal. What's the campaign goal? Evaluate how contacts are progressing and engaging while you have the email campaign. Don't just run the campaign and set it and forget it like a crock pot. You got to go see how they're progressing. If you're starting to see where people are falling off at a particular point, that's something to say, whoa, let me stop and see what's going on, because 10% or 8% or 20% of my contacts, they're falling off at this particular juncture, right? So it's not a set it and forget it situation. So here's a couple systems if you're not familiar with any. If you are, great. Benchmark email is great for beginners. Really great for beginners. It helps you to kind of get your hands wet, learn to play with the system at a much lower cost. However, once you have grown and you are really realizing I need to automate my systems, I need to get processes moving. Maybe you don't have a team of 10 and 20 to manage things, but you need your tools to actually carry the load of an admin assistant. You're going to have to upgrade to something like an Infusionsoft by Keith that has everything in it. Entreport, Klaviyo, ActiveCampaign, those are a few. Somebody might be thinking, well, what about Constant Contact? Constant Contact is great. I was on Constant Contact for years, but Constant Contact does not allow that I've seen that they've upgraded for sequencing and automation. So there goes that. All right. So here I would like to challenge you, if you've not done it already, pick a product or pick a service that you want to roll out. You want to bring some more dollars into the business this year. You say, hey, I want to increase my contacts by X%, or I want to increase my revenue by the end of the quarter. I want to add an extra 10% or an extra 50,000 to my bottom line this year. I challenge you in the next 30 days, develop a very tight email strategy. Get a lead magnet, right? Run it out through for lead gen, get a landing page, offer the lead magnet, pull them into your database, set up the email sequence, and make sure you have 12 messages to run that nurture campaign. Don't only make 3 messages, because it takes people at least 7 touches before they can even make a decision outside of an emergency. So don't try to email every day, every week. That's going to mess people up, especially if you're not that type of audience. Always email. Make sure an email gets pushed out at least every 3, no more than 4 weeks, because that is the new algorithm in terms that are set up. All right. If you want more branding information and marketing tips and strategies, you can go ahead and go to getbrandingandmarketingtips.com, and you'll get some educational emails in there. I give out a bunch of tips and a bunch of strategies over the years to help people along the way. There's no hard sales in there, because this was not a sales and promotion email. This was actually truly an informational and educational email campaign. So just to educate folk. All right, I think I'm done. Does anyone have any questions? And thank you again for having me, Sabine. Thank you for Jacqueline and for Hal. And if you have any questions, let me know. I hope this was valuable to you guys.
So we've got time for one question. And I think also, Natasha, first off, great for doing the challenge for the next 30 days. And as a group, because we are trying to push accountability, we will be talking about this in 2 weeks. So on the 24th, no speaker, although Natasha, you're welcome to join us again and talk about how we're doing in any of these steps. So anybody got a question with Natasha before we run out of time? All right. I think there's probably a lot of, go ahead.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Natasha, do you have a CRM recommendation even though I'm at a fairly large commercial real estate firm, each broker is responsible for their own databases and things of that nature. So any CRM recommendations?
Yeah,
Better-
so yeah, I would say that if your database, if you got good database and they're less than 50 and you're kind of new at this, I would say start with benchmark. If you have over 50 in your contacts and database, you have an engaging audience of people, I would say go with one of the tools, Infusionsoft, Klaviyo, Entreport. Those tools will run a business plus or minus about 150 a month. I stay away from other tools like Salesforce, HubSpot, because they can get very cost prohibitive, as easy as $500, $600, $800 a month just to have all of the tools you need. So I would say just as a small business, Entreport, Klaviyo, Infusionsoft is great. Infusionsoft has everything in it, including calendars, billing, book appointments, all that good stuff. Klaviyo has some tools in Entreport as well. So I would pick one of those to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, in wrapping up again, thank you, Natasha, and again, you may want to join us on the 24th. Upcoming, yes, thank you, Jared, for too many emails. So upcoming, the 24th is a conversation about how are we doing with our emails and what do we take away from Natasha we can do. And then in June, we'll pick up the next topic of business development as we've been doing. Thanks everybody for, wish you all a great week, and who knows what's going to come up in your email. I'll take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Natasha. Great job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice, Natasha. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.